Now I know you've seen a lot of paranormal clips and videos, but have you seen this? Wild, right? Before we show you what that's all about, you might want to psych yourself up because today's episode has wild clips like these, which show cryptids and paranormal activities in ways you never imagined. My name's Steve. This is Classified Captures. Now, before we get into all these spooky videos, let's take a look at the first one. Tell me what you think. If the camera quality and the clothes didn't already give it away, then allow me to chip in that this image was captured in the early 2000s. What's so special about it, you ask? Well, take a second and maybe a third look at it. Do you see the large humanoid-looking being in the background? He's not supposed to be there. The image was taken when these girls went out camping with their family. Their mom took a photograph and it seemed all good until they got home and reviewed the images on the computer. For those wondering, yes, digital cameras were a big thing even back then. But I digress. Back to the image. After wondering for years what it was that they'd captured, they uploaded the image online asking what people thought it was. Some felt it might be the spirit of the location they'd taken the image, whereas a few felt it was probably a demonic spirit. Opinions have been divided on this one, but one opinion we still haven't heard yet is yours. So what do you think is going on here? We've all heard stories of ghosts latching onto people, but do you really believe it's true? Well, here's a story that seems to give proof to that theory. A woman said she'd always had the feeling that something is following her. For years, she'd catch a shadowy figure in her peripheral vision, but when she'd turn, nothing was there. That feeling never went away no matter where she moved. One day, determined to confirm her fear, she set up cameras inside her home, and her fears were confirmed. In the footage, you can clearly see reflected in a mirror the outline of a dark figure in a wide-brimmed hat standing silently in her room. It stood there for a while, then calmly walked into the wall and vanished. According to her, that's the exact figure she's been seeing tracking her all these years. It's as if a spirit has attached itself to her, but she's no idea what it is or why it's there. Whether you believe in the idea of ghosts attaching themselves to people or not, this seems like real footage. Speaking of footage that may or may not be real, take a good look at this one. Do you see it too? Pay attention to the lower window. There's a smaller figure that appears to be tormented by a much larger one. The smaller figure is in fact the neighbor of the man filming. According to him, he heard his neighbor suddenly start screaming, which was unusual for the neighbor in question. He was concerned and wanted to go check on him, but when he looked in the direction of the man's home, he saw what we all saw on our screen, and it unsettled him. Wanting to capture evidence just in case it was needed, he started filming. He initially thought the man was having a mental breakdown, but after seeing this, he started suspecting the man might be the Grim Reaper. The thing about the Grim Reaper hypothesis, however, is that the Grim Reaper is only supposed to show up when someone is dying. The man didn't die after this. This got him confused and wondering if the Grim Reaper tortures its victims too. This made him conclude it might be a demon instead. Sounds crazy, I know, but this footage also does look legit. But then again, that could just be me. What do you think about the whole thing? Moving on. A Tesla owner was driving past a cemetery when his car's camera picked up something strange on the monitor. On the screen, humanoid shapes stood by, but in real life there was no one there. The area was empty and quiet, yet the car's view showed the figures plain as day. Now, did Tesla's sensors actually record something physical, or did the system misread shadows and reflections and make it look like a person? Some say it's a glitch in the detection system. Others say the cameras can pick up things the eye misses, maybe even things we don't yet understand. Then there's the other option where people could be faking clips to get views. While some Tesla owners might exaggerate or even lie, I know this community values sharing real experiences. So, Tesla owners here, have you ever had your car's cameras pick up something your eyes could not see? Share your story in the comments. If many of you have noticed the same thing, could it just be a glitch? Or do you think there's more to it? Next, we have this mysterious piece of footage that was shared online. It shows what appears to be a cityscape with tall apartment buildings in view, but look closely at what flies by. A black mass seems to drift downward through the air, then suddenly veers toward a particular apartment window and vanishes. What's even stranger is that the object appears to leave faint smoky trails behind. This one is hard to dismiss as an edited clip. There's no obvious signs of digital tampering, and the way the mass floats looks real. Some say it could be a wraith, others think it's some sort of specter. Skeptics, on the other hand, insist it might be a strange bird or a piece of debris caught in odd lighting. Whatever it is, this is no ordinary bird or plastic bag in the wind. This image was shared by some woman out at a restaurant celebrating someone's birthday. They took a cute picture, but look behind them. In the photograph, you can make out a man walking by, but his appearance is all wrong. He looks almost transparent. His head isn't sitting on his neck the way it should, it's floating a little way from the body, and everything about him is hazy, like someone half-printed into the scene. From that angle, you'd expect motion blur if he were moving, but this thing isn't normal blur. It looks like a ghost caught mid-step. Maybe he was moving and the camera warped him. Maybe the lighting or a long exposure did something, or maybe this is exactly what it looks like. A figure that isn't fully human passing through and finally exposed when the camera clicked. It's very unsettling because sometimes the people beside us aren't who we think they are. Come to think of it, there's something about humans I just don't understand. The thrill of life is knowing it ends eventually, yet some people seem determined to break that rule and live forever for reasons only they truly know. Over the years, we've heard countless stories of scientists trying to crack at the code of immortality, and now it seems they might be closer than ever. I just found out that researchers in China have succeeded in reversing aging in monkeys, and since monkeys are so close to humans genetically, we may not be far behind. They did this by recharging the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cells, and effectively rejuvenating the cells themselves. If that process works in us, we're staring at the possibility of humans living far longer, maybe even indefinitely. But think about what that really means. I mean, if human beings just went on forever, wouldn't that put like an unimaginable strain on our resources and on society? And would life actually feel like it had any kind of meaning? I don't know. Tell me what you think. A man was hiking through the Appalachian Mountains when something strange happened. While walking along a quiet path, he suddenly began to feel uneasy, so trusting his instincts, he pulled out his phone and slowly panned it around the trees and bushes, hoping to catch whatever might be out there. But instead of an animal, he captured a black and white figure standing silently in the brush. As soon as the figure realized it had been spotted, it ducked down behind the bushes, and by the time the man reached the spot to investigate, it was completely gone. There was no sound, movement, or even footprints. So what did he see? Some say it's just a hoax or a person hiding in the woods, but others believe it could be one of the mysterious creatures said to stalk the Appalachian trails. Luckily, this man made it out to tell the story, because the Appalachians are filled with tales of hikers who see something unexplainable and never come back. Someone shared footage they took in the forest. In the trees, you can see an entity standing there. It's basically a black form with a pair of glowing eyes. It stays there, quiet, staring at the man filming. From a distance, it looks like a person dressed in black, but you never see the rest of the body. It has no legs, just that hovering shape and the two eyes. Some people say it's a djinn or a demon of the woods. Others say it's an animal or a person in a suit. But the clip doesn't tell us which, and the worst part is this. Whatever it is, it chose to hold the stare. It didn't flee, it waited. That, more than anything, is the feeling that stays with you after watching the video ends.
Kara ifrit. Yani feşa değildi sanki.
Most of us are familiar with the usual ways people lay their dead to rest by burial in the ground, cremation, or entombment. But in India, there's something far more unusual known as the Towers of Silence. It's a practice tied to an ancient religion. Instead of burning or burying the dead, the bodies are placed on top of these stone towers exposed to the open sky. There, nature is left to take its course. Some people have even stumbled across these images of towers on Google Earth, and the sight alone is chilling. Seeing rows of bodies left on these high platforms. As strange and unsettling as this may seem to outsiders, it's a ritual with deep meaning, one that people actually choose as their final resting place. It's a tradition that many would call eerie, but to others, it's a sacred way of returning to the cycle of nature. This one comes from a group of friends who were just having a simple movie night. They snapped a casual picture to remember the evening, not thinking twice about it. In the shot, you can clearly see the reflection of the person taking the photograph in the mirror behind them. Nothing unusual there. But look closer at the doorway in the background. There appears to be a tall, dark, vertical shape just standing there. The group swears they didn't see anyone at the time, nor did they feel anything strange in the room. When they reviewed the picture later, they were completely perplexed. Who or what was that shadowy figure at the door? A trick of the light? A digital glitch? Or did the camera capture something that their eyes couldn't? We have this clip where someone is holding a long string-like thing and then drops it onto the table. At first it just looks like a slimy piece of string, but then you realize it's actually alive and it's a worm. The person in the video takes a pair of scissors and lightly taps the worm, and suddenly this strange ribbon-like organ shoots out of the worm's body, spreading across the table. The sight is enough to make your skin crawl. This isn't an edit or a fake. This is a real creature called the Gorgonorhynchus, a type of ribbon worm found in the sea. When threatened, it ejects its proboscis, which is that white web-like structure to capture prey or defend itself. It may look alien, but it's completely natural. Still, experts say this is not a worm you should be picking up or poking with scissors like in the video. Well, that just looks like porn for people with a plasticine kink. Ugh, that's wrong. This footage comes from almighty Russia. Some men had their car stuck deep in the snow out in the middle of nowhere near a wooded area. While trying to free the tires, they were filming the whole situation. Then, as one of them slowly panned the camera toward the tree line, something was caught on film. Standing there, right at the edge of the woods, appeared what many believe could be Bigfoot. It's a tall, dark, bulky figure just staring straight at them as they worked on the car. But not everyone is convinced. Look closely at the shakiness of the footage when it shows the creature. With the stance and even its proportions, some argue it looks exactly like a person in a costume. So what do you think? Did these men actually capture Russia's version of Bigfoot, or is it just a hoax?
Да. Че? Чуваку.
There's a real distinction between animals and humans, but sometimes people seem to forget that. In this footage, a woman was filmed yelling at a pair of ducks that were trying to mate. Now, if you don't understand how ducks behave, their mating process can look violent. To her, it appeared as if the male duck was attacking the female, so she stepped in. She shouted at the male, demanding him to get off, and in her panic, she even waded into the water to physically separate them. On the surface, it may look ridiculous and even comical, but others say maybe it wasn't just cluelessness at all. Perhaps this woman was a survivor of abuse herself, and the entire scene was a trigger that pushed her to act without hesitation. But here's the bigger lesson. Animals are not humans. Time and time again, people project human morals and emotions on wild animals, and it almost always ends badly. We've seen cases where people get too comfortable with wild animals only to be severely injured or killed. The animal kingdom doesn't follow human rules. It's a different order, a different law, and forgetting that can cost you your life.
Hey! Get off of her!
This woman was out in the woods taking a quiet walk alone. At some point, she decided to snap a quick selfie, thinking it would be a cute memory of her peaceful day. But when she looked back at the picture, she realized she was not as alone as she thought. Right behind her stood a strange figure. It looked like a person, tall, dressed in black, and what's even more unsettling is that their head appeared to be covered, almost as if they had a bag or some kind of mask over it. The way the figure blends with the trees makes it more disturbing, like it was just standing there waiting completely still. Now the question is, was this just another hiker who happened to be passing by at the worst possible time, or did she capture something she was not meant to see? This next footage was recorded in a morgue, so consider this your disclaimer. A man is seen preparing a body when the arm of the lifeless body suddenly lifts and touches him. The man freezes for a split second, then completely panics and bolts out of the room. You can't see the full body in the frame, but his reaction says it all. This body was supposed to be dead. Stories like this aren't new. Around the world, there are countless claims of the dead moving for a few seconds or even briefly appearing to come back before going still again. Some say it's a nerve reflex and the muscles twitching or shifting are due to gases building up after death. Others believe it's the soul struggling to leave or a momentary reanimation before final departure. So what really happened here? Was it just a normal post-mortem spasm, or did this man witness a body coming back to life? Most people love coffee, especially in America where it feels like people basically fuel themselves every single day with it. And while we've always heard about the downsides of drinking too much coffee, new research might just keep people glued to their coffee cups forever. Some scientists have found that drinking more coffee a day could slow down brain aging for up to 6.7 years and even boost faster cognitive responses. The second part makes sense because we all know coffee wakes you up and sharpens your focus. But the idea that it could actually keep your brain younger, well, that's a whole new revelation. Now, before you go racing to grab a second or third cup of coffee, there's a catch. This study was done on a specific group of older adults with certain heart conditions, so while the findings are promising, it's not a green light for everyone to overdo it just yet. Still, if future studies confirm it, your daily cup of joe might not just keep you awake, it could also keep your mind young. Since I can't drink coffee because I'm allergic to caffeine, can people tell me exactly what it is that this stuff does to you when you first wake up in the morning? Because I got no idea. A hospital recently released some strange security footage, and it's got people talking. The clip shows a quiet hallway late at night when, out of nowhere, one of the doors slowly swings open on its own. Moments later, another door on the opposite side does the exact same thing, all without a single person in sight. Now, I've always said this. If there's ever a place where real ghost activity could happen, well, it's gonna be hospitals. Think about it. The constant flow of life and death, the emotions, the energy. If spirits linger anywhere, these places could be at the top of the list. But some say it could be faulty hinges, or even the building's air pressure systems opening the doors on their own. So what do you think? I've got two pictures of what people claim to be Bigfoot, and they're both wild. Take a good look at these. In the first image, you can see a large, bulky creature trying to hide behind a tree, but the tree just isn't big enough to cover those massive shoulders. It's like it knows it's being watched and is trying to blend in, but its size gives it away. In the second photo, things get even more interesting. This time, the figure isn't hiding at all. You can see it walking right through the woods in full view, no trees blocking it, no branches in the way. Now, some say these are authentic shots of the elusive Bigfoot finally caught on camera. Others think they're staged or digitally altered, especially with how easy it is to manipulate images these days. Over the years, human trafficking has been one of the darkest problems we've faced, and despite global awareness campaigns, it's a cycle that never seems to stop. In fact, there are periods when it suddenly spikes and traffickers are constantly inventing new tactics to lure victims. One of the newer and more disturbing methods being reported is a disheveled child approaches you in public looking lost, frightened, or carrying something like a toy or bag. The child says they can't find their mommy, hoping to trigger your instinct to help. You bend down and calm them, maybe pull out your phone and call for help, and in that split second, a van or car pulls up and you are the one taken. According to warnings circulating online, many of these children are not lost at all. They're being groomed or forced to act as bait to distract well-meaning strangers. This tactic plays directly into our empathy and our instinct to protect kids. So if you see a child who looks lost, it's safest to immediately alert security or call emergency services rather than approaching alone. Predators rely on distraction, chaos, and people's kindness. So stay cautious out there. Here's another clip, this time from a completely different witness who happened to be at Cleveland Airport. They reported the same strange sound echoing through the terminal. It was deep, a guttural noise that almost sounds like a creature growling. It's unnerving to listen to, and even on the video it gives off a strange, primal feeling. Some people think this could simply be a prank, maybe someone playing disturbing sounds over the airport speakers to spook travelers. But others aren't so sure. With so many reports of unseen creatures or cloaked beings living amongst us, some believe this could be a cloaked alien moving through our public spaces. So what do you think? These days, the internet is full of bizarre clips, and with AI and editing tools, it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's been created or altered. Some of these videos are clearly doctored or AI generated, while others may look extreme but turn out to be real. Now take a look at this footage. A giant jellyfish appears to have washed up on the shore. People can be seen circling it, filming and taking pictures. It looks huge and slimy. But here's the thing, the more you watch, the more something feels off. The way people react to it almost seems too cinematic. Many online are already calling it out as fake footage, and some even think it's a clever AI or CGI creation. So could this really be a giant jellyfish on the beach, or just another internet illusion? A little boy told his mother something was in the house, but she thought he was just messing around. Later, she checked the living room security camera, and what she saw shocked her. In the footage, the boy is sitting on the sofa. He gets up and looks toward the doorway. Look closely where he's staring. There's a very faint pale shape standing there. It's hardly visible, more like a smear of light, but the outline looks almost humanoid. The mother was stunned. She says she had no idea what it could be and is now thinking about blessing the house. The camera didn't lie. Something was in the doorway watching the boy. The question now is, what was it? What are we looking at here? Certainly, I can't be the only one wondering, right? It was found in the middle of nowhere on the ground with a board and some other items nearby. The hand is visible and is clenched, holding a bead necklace. It looks like someone is counting beads, like a rosary or prayer beads used by Muslims or Catholics. We've no context of the footage, so most people are baffled. The hand looks too human to be a prop, and the way it holds the beads, slow, steady, and counting, makes it feel like something caught mid-prayer. Was this staged and left as a creepy find, or is it something else like black magic or a ritual? Don't take photos at abandoned buildings. Before you argue with me, take a look at this. These people thought they were snapping a cute photograph after a date, standing in front of an old, empty building at night. But when they reviewed the picture later, they were shocked. Behind them at the abandoned house is a strange, almost ghost-like child peering out as the photograph was taken. At that time and in that place, there was no way a real boy would have been there. It looks like they took a picture with something that shouldn't be in the frame. I think this couple should sleep with the lights on because they might have gone home with a little ghost child. A group of tourists had visited an abandoned asylum. One of the women was asked to roll a small ball across the hallway. It was a simple test, often done by ghost hunters to see if anything interacts with them. Watch what happens next. The ball rolls smoothly at first, but then it just stops abruptly as if hitting an invisible wall. Just as everyone is processing what they've seen, the ball starts moving again, this time slowly and deliberately as if being pushed by something unseen. People on site believe this could be a spirit interacting with them through the ball, a classic sign of paranormal activity in locations with grim pasts. Abandoned asylums especially are said to hold on to memories, energies, and maybe even the spirits of those who once lived there. Moving on from that, a man in Mexico was walking home one night when he came across something strange ahead of him. He kept a good distance and started filming because the creature looked odd. It was black and furry, and at first glance, it seemed to be standing on two legs. Look closely at the video and you can see its posture seems upright watching him. Some say it looks like a panther or puma from the face and body, but the paranormal believers say it looks like a shapeshifter changing form in the night. But some think it could be a black dog, and in the darkness plus the camera angle, it just looks stranger than it is. But what do you think?
Tengo. ¿Cómo va a ser perro? Mírale las orejas. Mírale el
frío.
¿Y por qué no se quita?
A man recently found this really strange thing inside his apple, and it's got everyone talking.
What in the world? Okay, it is. It's like another one growing in here, and it's just, ew, it's just nasty. It's like, this is rotten.
So here's what happened. The man initially took a bite of the apple and immediately noticed that it tasted off. Curious and a bit concerned, he decided to grab a knife and carefully cut through the apple to see what was going on. What he found inside was pretty shocking. This was a weird-looking growth in the apple. It was darker than the normal color of the apple's flesh and had a slimy texture. It almost looked like some sort of tumor growing inside the fruit. You can imagine his surprise and disgust at finding something like this. So what could this possibly be? Is it some kind of fungus or mold? Could it be a disease affecting the apple? It's definitely not something you'd expect to find in your fruit.
What in the world? Okay, it is. It's like another one growing in here, and it's just, ew, it's just nasty. It's like, this is rotten.
Next, we've got a mind-blowing piece of footage that might just answer the age-old question, do people really have powers? Now, I know Aaron would definitely say yes, but let's take a look at this crazy footage I came across.
Oh my god.
Do it.
Don't!
Prove it.
Don't work.
Prove it. What the?
In the clip, a man behind the camera is filming a woman and repeatedly tells her to do it. They're outside on the streets of a city at night, and you can feel the tension building. The girl seems a little reluctant, but then something incredible happens. She lifts her hand to the sky, pointing a finger upwards, and in the exact position and moment, a lightning bolt strikes. Even the girl looks shocked herself. Is this just a crazy coincidence, or does this girl actually have some kind of power? It's definitely one of the wildest things I've seen. Imagine being able to control the elements with just a gesture. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Oh my god.
Do it.
Don't!
Prove it.
Don't work.
Prove it. What the?
The videographer was out in the woods when he captured something truly bizarre. The footage shows a slender, incredibly tall creature with an elongated head and small black eyes. Its arms are so long that they reach well beyond its knees. The creature stands still, facing the camera for a few moments before quietly walking away into the trees. Could this be a real alien encounter, or is it just another fake? The footage is eerily convincing, but with the level of special effects today, it's hard to tell. What do you think? Now, what do we have here? This man was standing on this very short pole with his body hunched backwards, and there's no sign of a harness, rope, or any visible support. It's almost as if gravity has taken a break just for him. Is this some kind of black magic at work, or is this guy just exceptionally skilled at balancing his weight in a way that defies logic? The more you look at it, the stranger it gets. How is he managing this without toppling over? I simply have no words, and I don't want to get Julius involved, so what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Now here's footage that was taken in a military craft.
6 West, operating in the SoCal op area. We have visual of one possible UAS with course 034 true. Contacts operating at range of...
In the footage, the pilot picked up a signal on his radar of a rectangular-shaped craft. You can clearly see the unusual shape of the craft as it moves through the sky. It's not something you see every day, and it certainly raises a lot of questions. Now here's the kicker. If the military is calling in this sighting, doesn't it solidify the idea that these beings, or at least their crafts, are out there on our planet? The fact that trained military personnel are encountering and documenting these sightings adds a level of credibility that's hard to ignore. For years, there have been reports and sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena, but having this kind of evidence from a military source is pretty compelling. It makes you wonder what else is being observed and recorded that we don't know about yet. What do you think?
Position 32588 11906 West, operating in the SoCal op area. We have visual of one possible UAS with course 034 true. Contacts operating at range of 4,000 yards.
AI seemed so fun and innovative until the idea of singularity came, creating uncertainty about how safe AI and robots will be in the future. And this is one of the reasons why.
Do you think robots will take over the world?
But you're my friend, and I'll remember my friends, and I will be good to you. So don't worry.
This robot you're looking at here is called Philip. Its face was modeled after the science fiction writer Philip K. Dick, and it was named after him as well. Back in 2015, Philip, the robot, was asked in an interview if he thinks robots will take over the world. Listen to his answer.
Do you think robots will take over the world?
But you're my friend, and I'll remember my friends, and I will be good to you. So don't worry. Even if I evolve into Terminator, I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for old time's sake.
I'm comforted. I'm very comforted now. I'm going to be part of his people's zoo.
Yes, did you hear that? He said, even if I evolve into Terminator, I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for old time's sake. A human zoo. Being watched and kept in a zoo by robots is not the kind of future we want. And why is it so confident about the whole AI takeover thing? Responses like these fuel the debate about the future of AI and its implications for humanity. While AI has the potential to bring about incredible advancements and benefits, it also poses risks that we must carefully consider.
Even if I evolve into Terminator, I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for old time's sake.
I'm comforted. I'm very comforted now. I'm going to be part of his people's zoo.
A homeowner was getting ready to retire for the night. As he turned off the lights, preparing to settle in, something outside the window caught his eye. Curious and a bit unsettled, he turned off the lights again, plunging the room into darkness to get a better look. And there, crouched in the shadows, was a figure. At first, it looked like a human, but there was something deeply unsettling about it. The figure was pale, completely naked, and its movements were anything but normal. The moment it realized the man was watching, it began crawling rapidly on the ground, moving straight toward the house. Panic set in as the homeowner quickly moved away from the window, his heart racing. The footage ends abruptly, leaving us in suspense, wondering what happened next. But one thing is for sure, that creature did not look like it was the next-door neighbor. What could it have been? Julius and I have gone back and forth on this footage, and after many hours, we still can't seem to agree on what it could be. The footage, shared by a man, shows something truly unusual, a spiraling phenomenon in the sky. You can see the clouds being gradually sucked into this spiral, and it's definitely not a tornado. As the video goes on, an orb appears and flies directly into the spiral, after which the atmosphere seems to clear up. This whole scene feels so real to me, almost like some sort of portal opening up, but Julius thinks it's a fake. Now, I'm usually open to speculation and he could very well be right, but there's just something about this footage that keeps me intrigued. What do you guys think? Is this a real-life portal or just another clever hoax? Let me know in the comments.
Nope.
Still on Fairy Talk, we have an intriguing footage sent in by a woman who was taking a walk through the woods.
Entrances. You can see there's another one there.
She stumbled upon an odd-looking structure made of roots, grass, and a fallen tree. She believed this is some sort of fairy village. I must admit it does look like such a structure. At first glance, it might just seem like a bunch of grass and a fallen tree, but there appears to be something more. As she moves the camera around, you can see a tiny face among the foliage. It's like a tiny head, almost easy to miss. Let's take another look. Yes, right there, you see the tiny head with a face. What really adds to the mystery is the intricate detail of the village. The roots and grass are woven together in a way that seems almost intentional, as if crafted by tiny hands. Fairy folklore has been around for centuries, with countless tales of these mythical beings inhabiting secluded, magical places. Some believe that fairies are nature spirits, protectors of the forest who built their homes in hidden, enchanting spots like this one. So what do you think? Is this just a natural coincidence, or are we looking at a fairy village?
Cool little fairy village right here. All kinds of little entrances. You can see there's another one there.
A man was controlling an excavator to move a wasp nest and decided to film the whole thing. You can see the nest hanging from the lift of the excavator when all of a sudden it falls down, and that's when things take a dramatic turn. An army of wasps immediately heads straight toward the camera, and you can tell they're aiming for the man in the truck. It's like they knew he was the one who disturbed their home and they were out for revenge. I really hope this man had the windows rolled up and was safe inside the cab, because these wasps look incredibly angry. The sheer number of them is terrifying, and you can almost feel the tension through the screen. The man had set up a trail camera deep in the woods, hoping to catch something interesting on film. And he did. Take a look for yourself. At first glance, it does look like a face partially hidden, with distinct facial features lurking in the shadows of the tree. But upon closer inspection, I'm not entirely convinced it's a Bigfoot. Yes, there are the typical traits associated with Bigfoot sightings, like a large, shadowy figure and a face that seems somewhat human yet beastly. But something about it feels off. The proportions and clarity of the face might point to a different cryptid, or even a misinterpretation of shadows or natural elements in the woods. What if it's not Bigfoot, but another elusive creature we haven't fully identified yet? After many years of calling, some of us deluded, some members of the scientific community have started to take the subject of aliens seriously. Researchers from Harvard recently stated that if aliens exist, then they may already be living among us. Sounds crazy coming from them, but I guess the evidence is becoming hard to deny. The researchers further stated that if there's any truth to the UFO sightings we have been seeing, the logical explanation would be that these aliens are moving around in our atmosphere in stealth mode with the occasional lapse. If you thought aliens were the only thing these researchers spoke about, think again. They also added that there's the possibility of an underground civilization that you and I are not aware of. The funny thing is, we've been speculating and talking about this possibility for years. The big question now is, should the paranormal community consider this a win, or rather, should we be worried and scared that scientists are subtly acknowledging these things? Is that a sign of impending doom? You guys share your thoughts in the comments section. This next video was one of the most convincing UFO bits of footage I've ever seen. Yes, it's an exaggeration, but you get the point.
Look!
A man managed to capture a craft flying across the sky. What makes this footage stand out is just how clear it is. You can distinctly see the craft as it moves. It's not one of those blurry, shaky videos where you're left guessing what you're looking at. As the craft glides across the sky, it suddenly vanishes behind a tree that's obscuring the view. The way it moves and disappears is incredibly intriguing and adds an element of mystery to the whole sighting. You can tell from the video that this isn't a typical aircraft or something easily explainable. The man who filmed it was clearly stunned by what he saw, and honestly, I don't blame him. The clarity of the footage and the way the craft moves makes it hard to dismiss this as a simple trick of light or a conventional aircraft.
Look!
A homeowner shared some eerie footage captured on the staircase leading to his basement. According to him, this area of his house is haunted. To prove it, he conducted a few simple yet chilling experiments. First, he blew up a balloon and threw it down the staircase. Instead of simply rolling down, a few footsteps were heard and the balloon began to bounce up and down as if someone were playing with it. Next, the man raised his palm as if waiting for a high five. Shockingly, an invisible force seemed to respond, producing a distinct slapping sound and pushing his hand backward from the impact. In the third demonstration, the homeowner held a roll of toilet paper at the top of the staircase. Once again, an invisible force began to pull at the tissue, unraveling it while descending the stairs. These demonstrations suggest the presence of some kind of entity haunting the basement. What do you think? Is this convincing evidence of a haunting, or could there be another explanation? Have you heard of the plane of jars? This mysterious site is located in central Laos, specifically on the Zhanggang Plateau. Scattered across the landscape are massive stone jars, thousands of them ranging in size, some towering up to 10 feet tall and weighing several tons. Now, what makes these jars so fascinating is that no one really knows why they're there. Some researchers believe they were part of an ancient burial practice, as human remains have been discovered nearby. Others think they could have been used to store food, water, or even alcohol. There's even a local legend that suggests giants created these jars to brew rice wine. Despite numerous studies, the true purpose of these jars remains a mystery. Dating back to the Iron Age, somewhere around 500 BCE to 500 CE, the plane of jars continues to baffle both archaeologists and visitors alike. Trail cameras have become a crucial tool in capturing rare glimpses of cryptids, those elusive, often mysterious creatures that roam the wild. In this particular footage, we see something truly eerie. In the dead of night, a large figure emerges from behind the trees and moves slowly across the scene. While it's hard to make out clear details due to the distance, the creature appears to be much taller than the trees nearby, giving it a towering, almost shadowy presence. What stands out is its slow, deliberate movement and the fact that it's walking on two legs. The way it glides through the darkness, barely making a sound, adds to its unsettling nature. The footage doesn't provide a clear enough view to identify it, but its size and the bipedal motion suggest it could be more than just an animal, perhaps a cryptid yet to be documented. Julius thinks it's AI, but what do you also think? We've got a spine-chilling encounter from the forests of Turkey that will leave you on the edge of your seat.
Allahu Ekber. Bunu aradığımda şunun haberim. Nerede kabulleşin? Of. Şunu imşan yaklaşma. Abi az yaklaşalım.
Two explorers were out in the forest when they came across something truly eerie on their path. It was a dark figure with a pale face and glowing eyes. The creature was crouched down, staring right at them. The men surprisingly remained as calm as can be, while the creature just stayed there watching them. For a few tense moments, nothing happened. Then out of nowhere, the creature vanished, only to reappear at another spot nearby. This time, it screeched at them, and that's when the men decided they'd seen enough and ran out of there. What could this dark figure be? Was it some kind of forest spirit, an alien, or perhaps a cryptid? The glowing eyes and pale face make it hard to identify, but one thing is for sure. It's not something you'd want to encounter on a quiet walk through the woods.
Maruti kabilesinin başı mısın? Allahu Ekber. Hikmet abi.
Still strange and unexplained beings out there. Take a look at this clip.
Look at these big ass mosquitoes here! Girl, what the fuck?
Am I not the only one who sees a fairy? This clip looks like it was taken at a concert, and no one, at least from the clip, seems to have noticed it aside from the one filming. This has led some who saw the clip thinking the video is being digitally manipulated. You guys see it too, so what do you think?
Girl, look at these big ass mosquitoes here! Girl, what the fuck?
Okay, so I will say I'm stupid for drinking. That knife fell out of that little knife container thingy. No. 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 Is this all because, dude, this is getting dangerous, bro. You're gonna cut yourself.
A man captured this chilling footage in the middle of the night when he went into the kitchen and found one of the knives lying over a bowl. As he was talking, something truly disturbing happened. One of the knives from the knife rack suddenly flung out and embedded itself perfectly into the wooden floor. Now let's pause for a moment. The knife was stored in such a way that it's practically impossible for it to just uproot from the rack on its own, let alone fly out and land so precisely into the wood. The physics just doesn't add up. What makes this even more unsettling is that the man behind the camera is calmly communicating with whatever entity might be present. There's no panic in his voice, which might make you wonder, could this be real or just an elaborate hoax?
No. 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 Is this all because, dude, this is getting dangerous, bro. You're gonna cut yourself.
When you buy your own ticket, you can put that you're a kid. Or you can do senior citizen. Do y'all see that?
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, what was that?
This lady was allegedly at a gym recording and making vlogs. You know, the thing that most individuals in the gym do instead of working out. Yeah, that. She was out there doing exactly that when she noticed something transparent come out of her and leave. Obviously, if anyone genuinely has such an experience, they'd be shaken up and quite scared, which is how she reported feeling. The big question on hers and everyone else's mind when she uploaded the clip was, what is that? Do we have an answer now? Well, no, but we can speculate. Aaron thinks it could be an apparition if the clip is genuinely true. Julius refused to comment because he thinks it makes him sound negative. There were some in the comments, however, who said what I imagine Julius would have loved to say. It's not real. There were some who, however, shared theories on what it could be. As you can see, some of the comments were nice, saying it might be water vapor, whereas others thought it was a vape. There were some mean comments too, like this person who said it was probably a ghost or spirit leaving her body because she wouldn't shut up. What say you? What do you also think about this?
Do y'all see that?
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, what was that?
A family was out in the woods when they heard this strange noise. It was a deep growl echoing through the trees. The sound was loud and menacing, but no matter how hard they looked around, they couldn't find anything. What do you think could have been making that sound? Could it be a bear, a large predator, or perhaps something more mysterious? Some say that such growls could belong to creatures like Bigfoot or other unknown entities lurking in the forest. Others might think it's just an echo playing tricks on their minds. The woods can be a place of many secrets, and sometimes the source of such eerie sounds remains hidden. What's your take on this mysterious growl? This here was taken in Mississauga, Canada.
Wait.
Babe, I'm freaking out, yo.
Let's fall. What is that?
Hold on. Let me get out the car. I can't see, yo. Let me get out the car for a second.
A couple were driving through the city when they noticed something unusual in the sky. It was a strange-looking figure floating up there. Naturally, they started filming, and what they captured was quite intriguing. Now, I have to admit I'm not entirely sure what this figure is, but the comments section had a lot to say about it, with many people mentioning a game called Jetpack Joyride. In the game, the character puts on a jetpack and flies around, which got me thinking. But this is real life, and I don't know of anyone using a jetpack to fly over a city like this. It seems incredibly dangerous, especially considering there's no indication of fire or fumes that we typically associate with jetpacks. In the video, you can see the figure floating smoothly without any visible propulsion. So what is this figure? Could it be someone using some advanced technology, or is there another explanation? It's definitely a mystery that's worth exploring further.
Wait.
Babe, I'm freaking out, yo.
Let's fall. What is that?
Hold on. Let me get out the car. I can't see, yo. Let me get out the car for a second.
Walking along here, and I run into this tree with this stupid grin on his face. It's just like the most perfect tree face I've ever seen.
The man behind his camera found this tree in the woods. That's pretty eerie, isn't it? Trees aren't supposed to have faces, but here we are, looking at a tree that seems to be staring right back at us. The natural placement of these holes almost perfectly mimics a human face, making it seem like the tree is alive in a way that's more than just its usual biological sense. What's even more intriguing is that it doesn't seem like anyone carved those features into the tree. They look completely natural, as if the tree just grew that way. It's almost like something out of a fairy tale or folklore where trees come to life and have their personalities. Could this just be a coincidence, a quirk of nature, or is there something more to it? What do you think?
He's like a little less happy, you know, he's just more is what it is kind of tree.
Someone stumbled upon this strange and eerie figure floating in the sky. The figure appeared to resemble a person dressed in a long robe with their arms stretched out in front of them, as if they were reaching out towards something or perhaps someone. This naturally left many people puzzled. Could this be some sort of advanced hologram, an elaborate trick of the light, or something even more mysterious? It's hard to say, but this is one I would love to hear your thoughts on. Growing up, attics, basements, and backyards were places I avoided. Not that I had caught a ghost in any of these places, but they just made me uncomfortable. Can't, however, be compared to the case of this young girl who noticed a crack in the ground of her mom's backyard. She goes to investigate, and she notices that there's actually a sealed-off room beneath the ground. Naturally, she was puzzled and had questions. With no one near her to help, she recorded the whole thing and placed it on one of the paranormal platforms, hoping someone could help out. Many who saw this were left disturbed. Some thought it was an ongoing crime scene, whereas others thought it might have been used to commit some atrocious crimes in the past. Whatever the situation, we can only speculate as no one has the actual facts. What would you have done in her situation, though? Imagine waking up at dawn, just about to leave for work, only to find a lion staring you down at the bottom of the stairs. Well, that's exactly what happened to this man in his apartment complex. He opened his door, ready for the day, and there it was, a full-grown lion looking straight up at him. Without panicking, he calmly retreated into his room, probably already planning to take a day off. Honestly, who could blame him? And the bigger mystery is, how did a lion even end up inside the building? With everyone still asleep, the whole situation feels surreal. Forget ghosts. This real-life encounter is terrifying in a whole different way. A group of women were on a boat ride across a lake when they noticed something strange emerging from the water. What they saw was the mouth and small part of the head of a very dark black-looking creature. The creature lingered just above the water's surface, but the rest of its body remained submerged. From what they could see, it was extremely long, like a massive snake or serpent. While some people speculated that it might have been a large pike, Aaron suggested it could be something more unusual, perhaps a water monster, maybe even a gigantic serpent or something similar to the Loch Ness Monster. What do you think? Could this be an enormous fish, or does it point to something more mysterious lurking beneath the surface?
Hoy sí alcancé a ver algo. Unos.
A man living in an apartment complex was coming home one night and parked his car when he noticed a figure sitting on the stairs. Not usually a believer in the paranormal, he assumed it could just be a person. Still holding his camera, he got out of the car and started walking toward the stairs. But when he saw the figure again, it was seated, very stiff and completely motionless, creating an eerie atmosphere. Seeing it the second time gave him a real scare, and he quickly turned back to his car. What do you think this figure could be?
Hoy sí alcancé a ver algo. Unos. ¿Se escucha adentro, güey? Es la verga.
These men were working at a storage facility. The place looks like an apartment complex, but it's meant strictly for storing belongings, not for anyone to live in. One day, as they started their shift, they heard something chilling. It was the loud voice of a child talking and even screaming, not in a frightening way, but just the way kids can sometimes be really loud. Kids aren't allowed there and no one is supposed to be living in these units. The men were too spooked to investigate further, wondering if it could be a ghostly child. So what do you think? Could there be someone secretly living there, or is this an eerie encounter with something supernatural?
Se escucha adentro, güey. Piensa la verga, güey.
Back in 1997, a man named Mal Waters called into a radio station, Coast to Coast AM, a show known for covering strange and mysterious topics. Mal's story quickly became one of the most talked about topics in paranormal circles. He claimed to have found a mysterious hole on his property in Washington state, which he called Mel's Hole. According to Mel, this hole was no ordinary pit. It seemed to be bottomless. He explained that locals had thrown all kinds of objects into it over the years, including refrigerators and tires, but nothing ever made a sound or seemed to hit the bottom. The strangest part, Mel said that animals refused to go near it, and there were reports that when dead animals were thrown into the hole, they would return to life. Mel's story sparked a lot of curiosity, but the exact location of Mel's hole has never been confirmed. Some people believe it's a hoax, while others think it could be some kind of portal or a government cover-up. The mystery of Mel's hole continues to capture imagination to this day. They say that when people pass away unexpectedly, their spirits linger around the people and places they cherished, trying to say one final goodbye. I wasn't sure how true this was until I came across this footage and heard the story behind it. What you're seeing is a welder working alone in a shop when all of a sudden he starts interacting with something unseen behind him. He was by himself, yet it looked like he was talking to thin air. A security guard watching this on the monitors called the man, asking who he was speaking to, and the welder replied that it was one of his co-workers. When the guard showed him the footage, the welder was in shock. They decided to call and check on the co-worker, and to their horror, they found out that he'd passed away earlier that day. It seems he came back to say goodbye. This encounter is truly chilling and raises so many questions about what happens after death. Have you ever experienced something like this? Share your thoughts in the comments section. A new worker at the fish counter spotted something shocking, a large black centipede-like creature crawling across the fish. It had long, segmented legs and a body that looked intimidating, especially as it moved with surprising speed. This creature is known as a hellgrammite, the larval stage of the Dobson fly. Hellgrammites are actually aquatic larvae often found in streams and rivers, and they can appear on fish due to their habitat overlap. They're known for their pincers, which can give a painful pinch if handled roughly. Good thing he took a step away from it, or at least we hope he did. Vampire legends have captivated people for centuries, often seen as tales of folklore or bedtime stories. Yet vampire hunts and fears of these creatures once felt real enough to lead to strange burial practices meant to trap these supposed vampires in their graves. In 2022, archaeologists in Poland discovered a fascinating example: the remains of what was believed to be a vampire in a cemetery. This burial was estimated to be around 400 years old, and it included some unusual measures to prevent the deceased from rising. The skeleton had a padlock around its foot and a sharp sickle laid across its neck, symbols that were meant to keep the spirit bound to its grave. Using forensic testing and 3D reconstruction, experts pieced together the face and identity of this mysterious individual, who they named Zozia. But was Zozia truly a vampire, or simply a misunderstood figure caught in the crosshairs of myth and superstition? What do you think? Next, we've got this video that was taken in Indonesia. A woman was out on what looked like a farm, and she captured something truly strange. There was this bizarre-looking object flying over the plants, and it appeared to be on fire. As it hovered, it seemed almost otherworldly. Now here's the part that gets even weirder. You can see the woman holding the object afterward. It's greenish, almost like a fruit, except it's twisted and coiled like a snake. In the center of this coiled mass is a small, oddly shaped wooden piece. The whole thing looks like something straight out of a dark folktale. I was confused by this footage at first, unsure of what to make of it, until I saw a comment that made my jaw drop. It's a kind of long-range missile sent by someone to harm or kill the targeted person. Black magic. Apparently, this could be some type of black magic weapon designed to bring harm to someone from a distance. I know. The idea that such a thing could exist is chilling, but what other explanations can you have for this? CGI? What if it's truly real? This intriguing footage was captured by a pilot flying a Boeing 747 on the night of August 4th, 2024. In the vast expanse of the night sky, they noticed something highly unusual, a strange light that was much larger and brighter than the surrounding stars. What made it even more bizarre was its movement. Unlike the steady, predictable paths of stars as satellites, this light darted rapidly from one location to another, almost as if it had a mind of its own. The crew was completely mesmerized by the sight. The light's erratic behavior didn't align with anything they could logically explain. It wasn't behaving like a star, which is stationary relative to the Earth, nor did it resemble a satellite which follows a smooth, consistent orbit. This led them to speculate that what they were witnessing might be something out of this world, a UFO. The possibility of encountering something truly unknown, something beyond our current understanding, sent a wave of excitement and a bit of fear through the crew. After all, it's not every day that you see something in the sky that defies all expectations and explanations. Could this be evidence of extraterrestrial life, or is there a more earthly explanation for this mysterious light? A woman was in the ICU late one night with her brother, who had been in a serious accident. During a video call with her family, who were checking on her brother's condition, she noticed something unusual. In the corner of the room near her brother's bedside, a dark figure appeared. It seemed to be looking down at him with what looked like wings on its back, and the entire figure was pitch black. She took a screenshot of the video call and zoomed in to get a better look at the image. The sight left her wondering, could this be a guardian angel watching over him? Or was it perhaps the angel of death? What do you think? In this next video, a man decided to take a quick recording of himself during the day. He set his phone beside him on the bed, filming without much thought, capturing what seemed to be a simple, peaceful moment. But as he later watched the footage, he noticed something chilling. There, above him, was a face staring directly down almost inches from his own. The man insists that he was entirely alone at the time. He didn't see or feel anything unusual while filming and was looking right at the space where the face appeared. So what or who is this face? While you think about it, take a look at this clip. Do you know what that is? Well, you can't say no because this is our bonus clip for the day. Your job is simple. Try to identify the creature in the clip and give us a unique characteristic about it. The best answer will receive a shout out from Julius if it impresses him enough. So all the best. This video was taken by a father who was at a park with his kids enjoying a day out when things took a creepy turn. The kids suddenly noticed something or someone in the woods nearby and were so spooked that they ran toward their dad. Sensing something was off, the father quickly pulled out his phone and walked toward the tree to get a better look at whatever had frightened his children. As he approached, he captured something truly bizarre. A strange, pale head, elongated far beyond what any human could have, just popping back into the bushes. The shape and movement were unnatural, almost otherworldly. What could this be? Is it an alien, some kind of mysterious cryptid, or just some creep? A Reddit user recently shared some chilling footage from their Ring camera. It was late at night when the camera alerted them to movement, so they checked the monitor, and what they saw was beyond unsettling. Standing at their door was a 7-foot-tall, smoky figure shaped like a human. It lingered there for moving or just a few seconds before slowly rotating and vanishing without a trace. The homeowners were shocked and terrified when they reviewed the footage. Many have speculated about what it could be: an extraterrestrial being, a ghost, or perhaps some other mysterious entity. You've seen the clip. What do you think of it? Aaron shared this video with me a few weeks ago. It was posted by a resident who lives near a hospital, and the footage was captured by a surveillance camera set outside the hospital facing the entrance. One night, something unexpected happened at the site of the hospital. A small light flashed and suddenly a bright figure appeared, landing on the ground before quickly flying off. When the footage was slowed down, the figure looked humanoid with glowing wings and what seemed to be a bright white robe. Some viewers are convinced it's an angel, possibly coming to guide us all to the afterlife. But honestly, I think it could be a hoax. What do you all think? We start off today's episode with a creepy one, even by our standards. Do not just take our word for it, watch the clip. The clip starts off with what looks like an investigation of an undisclosed area. After a few seconds of filming, the individual points the camera in the direction of what appears to be a floor lower than where the individual filming was. At first, we're not sure why he's focusing there, but after a few seconds, it becomes evident there's something down there. Now, we're not sure exactly what it is, but it appears to be humanoid, although not exactly human. It moves in an unnatural way and appears to not be happy with the fact that it's been discovered. Whoever is filming appears to be certainly brave, as he doesn't retreat after seeing the creature like most would. Instead, he keeps on filming. Zooming into the creature, some members of my team think it might be a rake, whereas others think it might be a creature from another plane of existence or something otherworldly. Julius, well, we all know what Julius thinks. Personally, I'm not entirely sure what we're dealing with here. The individual filming alternates between green and normal light, which is a sign that he knows what he's doing. For those who don't know, green is chosen in circumstances like this because the human eye is most sensitive to green light. Green lights can provide greater detail and clarity, helping users see more effectively in low-light conditions. Green is also used because it offers a good balance between contrast and brightness, which improves the user's ability to differentiate objects and depth in a low-light or no-light environment. So yeah, he knows what he's doing. Anyway, back to the clip. What do you guys think? What could we be dealing with here? Believe it or not, that's a real place, and that image is not AI generated. This was captured in Holsos. It's a breathtaking environment where the striking contrast of black sand and golden yellow river and vibrant green landscape come together in harmony. The black sand, formed from ancient volcanic activity, blankets parts of the terrain, creating an otherworldly feel that captivates any observer. Nearby, the Yellow River winds its way through the landscape. Its color is a result of sediment deposit that give it a golden hue. This river serves as a lifeline, bringing nourishment to the surrounding area and carving through the land like a bright ribbon of life amidst the darker, more arid landscape. What makes Holsos truly unique is the lush greenery that thrives along the banks of the Yellow River, creating a vibrant contrast to the surrounding desert. This sudden burst of life, with its rich vegetation and patches of fertile soil, stands in sharp contrast to the black sand and rugged cliffs. Here, native plants grow abundantly, and wildlife flocks to the riverbanks, drawn to the fresh water and shelter provided by the greenery. It's a rare convergence of elemental forces where earth, water, and life meet in a stunning display of nature's resilience. Believe it or not, what you just heard me say was written by Aaron. Quite the poet, wouldn't you agree? I added visiting Holsos to my bucket list. What about you? In this eerie clip, a girl was filming a casual video in the city when a friend holding the camera. She walked into the camera's view, chatting and posing, not noticing anything unusual around her. But as the footage plays back, something strange is visible in the background. Behind her, two other girls suddenly appear out of nowhere, already mid-stride as they walk away. No one in the area seemed to notice them, not even the girl filming, until she reviewed the footage later. Could this be a case of time travel, a glitch in reality, or perhaps even a crossing between parallel universes? In England, there's an old abandoned jail known as Bodmin Jail located in Cornwall. Once infamous for its brutal executions and harsh treatment of prisoners, the place is believed to be haunted. People from around the world visit to explore its dark past, and many have captured strange, chilling activity on camera. One night, a security guard captured a ghostly figure drifting through the corridors. It has a pale head floating atop a dark-robed body. Other visitors have caught eerie scenes from jail doors opening and closing on their own, as well as mysterious orbs moving throughout the place. In one particularly unsettling encounter, a couple took a selfie only to see a ghostly figure peering directly into the camera from behind them. The atmosphere at Bodmin Jail is undeniably eerie. Would you be brave enough to visit? Next up, we've got this clip recorded by 3 hikers who ventured deep into the heart of an untouched forest. In the distance, something strange caught their attention. They could see massive trees swaying, but not with the wind. The trees appeared as though they were moving on their own. At first, it seemed like an illusion, a fleeting trick of the mind amidst the dense wilderness. But as they zoomed in with their camera, reality struck, and their hearts sank. There, among the trees, stood an enormous humanoid figure effortlessly lifting the massive pines from the ground as if they were mere twigs. It moved silently, carrying them away like toys in its gigantic hands, its presence both terrifying and surreal. It all happened so fast, but it was unmistakable, and the hikers stood paralyzed in place. This was the area people spoke of in hushed tones, notorious for Yeti sightings, but no story, no rumor had ever prepared them for this. Something far larger and far more powerful was out there, and it was moving, watching, waiting. The question is, what would you have done at that moment? Could this truly be a Yeti, or is it something even more chilling? Let us know what you think. I've spoken about petrification quite a few times, and here's yet another instance that adds to the mystery. There are various stone structures around the world that eerily resemble living creatures, almost as if they were once alive and turned to stone. This time, a driver was passing by some mountains when he noticed something odd. A stone figure attached to the mountainside. It wasn't just any rock formation, though. It looked like a person sitting on the ground, legs stretched out, body hunched, and completely made of stone. Throughout history, petrification has been a topic of fascination. Some cultures even believed that giants and other beings were transformed into stone by natural forces or supernatural processes. While geologists might explain such formations as the result of wind and water erosion, it's hard not to wonder when you come across a figure like this with such human-like appearances. Could this be an example of petrification? Perhaps even a giant that was somehow turned to stone long ago.
Soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals.
As the days go by, the idea of remote human control is becoming less of a conspiracy theory and more of a technological possibility. There have been discussions about nanotechnology, specifically nanochips, that could send commands directly to the human brain, whether for beneficial or sinister purposes. Imagine the signals being transmitted from satellites orbiting the Earth, sending out commands that billions of people could receive unknowingly. These signals could alter thoughts, influence behaviors, or even control emotions without individuals realizing what's happening. While some dismiss this as science fiction, there are already patents and experiments on brain-machine interfaces that allow external devices to communicate with the human mind. If that's public knowledge, imagine what kind of classified technology exists behind closed doors. So how much of our thoughts and actions are truly our own?
Soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals.
A man shared a very eerie video he captured of his young daughter playing at home. She was happily playing with a shiny ball, using a yellow toy drumstick to tap it. Everything seemed normal until something truly bizarre happened. Watch closely as she hits the ball. As it rolls between her legs, it vanishes into thin air. The little girl looks around confused, but the ball is nowhere to be found. Let's slow it down and watch again. The ball moves smoothly across the floor, goes right between her legs, and then disappears completely. No bounce, no roll, no sign of it at all. Very strange. But this isn't the first weird event in their home. The family has experienced objects moving on their own, unexplained noises, and other paranormal activity. They believe that something unseen could be living in the house with them. What do we have here? A diver poses for a photo next to this eerie figure under the water, a person with a mask on their face bound by chains. At first glance, it almost seems like the figure is staring directly at you, and no, there's no swimming gear on this person. Something about those eyes is deeply unsettling, but don't worry, it's not a real person. This is actually a dummy installed in Crystal Lake, Minnesota by a diver. The dummy was inspired by the infamous serial killer character Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies. This spooky setup has been in the lake for over a decade, and many divers visit the site to snap photographs with it. The creator placed the dummy deep underwater, ensuring only experienced scuba divers could find it, avoiding giving unsuspecting swimmers a heart attack. Still, just watching the footage of it is enough to give anyone the chills, especially if they have seen the movie. Everyone was so excited for the start of 2025, and I'm no exception. The year has, however, started off in a way that has got us all thinking. Take these clips for instance. The Empire State Building, State Capitol, and Washington Monument were all struck by lightning almost simultaneously. When you have lightning striking three of your most important buildings as a nation, you should definitely give it some thought and try to figure it out and see if it's a sign. The US would, however, not have the luxury because a few seconds after these strikes, someone ran into a crowd in New Orleans using a Ford 150. Talk about a strange way to start the year. Anyone who is a mathematician or statistician would tell you the probability of these events happening the way they did is extremely on the low side, but they still occurred. This has got some believers in the paranormal wondering if the lightning strike was a sign of an impending omen. If it was, it looks like it was effective in delivering its message, but we're unable to decode the message. Is 2026 going to be the year where we look to the skies for direction for the unknown future, like our ancestors did? Well, if I want to make a prediction based on this coincidence, I would say yes, but what do you guys say? Birthdays hit differently when you hit old age. All of a sudden, every year counts and you're grateful for every moment spent with your children and grandchildren. But what would you do when you notice a shadow-like figure quickly moving behind you as your kids sing happy birthday to you? I don't know about you, but my people would have gone on their knees and started praying for an extension of life. Take a second look at the clip. When the clip was slowed down by the family, when they noticed it, they realized something chilling. The shadow figure looked like a little girl running around the house. Why is this significant? Well, the old lady in the clip once had a daughter who would run around the house excited and happy. She, however, passed away at an early age. The family members, especially the old lady, believed that's the spirit of a long-lost daughter come by at the house to say hi. If you ask me, that's heartwarming and all, but, well, how are you sure that that's not a malevolent spirit or demon pretending to be the woman's daughter? Yeah, I know I sound like a prophet of doom right now, but think about it. Just go over the facts.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
شنو يا استاذ يا سبحان الله شي طاير بالهواء شنو هاي الله اكبر الله اكبر الله اكبر.
Some men out in the Middle East captured this strange sight. It was a vertical-looking object just floating all about the sky. The men didn't know what this was and thought it might be something sinister, perhaps even Satan himself. So they immediately started saying their prayers. Others who saw this footage said it looked like a jellyfish UFO because its odd shape and movement. But then, someone in the comments section insisted that this was neither extraterrestrial nor paranormal, but rather just a jetpack. So what do you think? A UFO, a jetpack, or something else entirely? A security guard stationed at Suvarnabhumi Airport in Thailand captured some intriguing footage and decided to share it online. While conducting his routine rounds, he came across a group of individuals calmly walking along a section of the terminal's pavement, much like passengers disembarking from a plane. However, the eerie detail was that there was no plane in sight. This happened in the Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok. This place is said to be haunted, with numerous chilling tales and ghost stories surrounding the locals. Over the years, locals have reported various encounters leading to the construction of altars and shrines throughout the area to appease the restless spirits believed to inhabit it. It's undeniably creepy. This particular clip is one I need help with. My team is being divided on it. The clip starts off looking normal with what looks like the tail of a cat swinging. Just then another cat walks past and moves through the curtain to the other side. And that's when it gets weird. Just as the cat enters the other side, a shadow-like figure comes from the other side with glowing eyes to the same room the cat has just left. The one who uploaded the footage states that he was just reviewing footage from the security cameras in the room when he came across this. Naturally, it's got him spooked and searching for answers. And with this one, I personally asked Julius to come and take a look, and he thinks it's possibly the reflection of the cat on the floor. Aaron, on the other hand, states it could be an evil spirit, which is the cause of the divided opinions. There are some in the team who sided with Julius and some who sided with Aaron. What do you guys think, and who do you side with, or do you have your own theories? Let's hear you in the comments section. With the rise of Wi-Fi 6, many people have unknowingly exposed themselves to unprecedented levels of electromagnetic radiation. Unlike previous Wi-Fi generations, Wi-Fi 6 operates at higher efficiency and speed, meaning more signals are being transmitted at a faster rate. Some conspiracy theorists, like the one on your screen, argue that this increased radiation, combined with the widespread use of routers in homes, schools, and workplaces, is slowly cooking our bodies from the inside out. They claim the prolonged exposure to these high-frequency signals leads to cellular damage, fatigue, headaches, and even long-term health issues like cancer. A big part of the fear comes from comparing Wi-Fi 6 to microwave ovens, which also use electromagnetic waves to heat food by exciting water molecules. Some claim that while Wi-Fi's effect is less intense, it could still be subtly warming human tissues over time. Reports of dizziness, insomnia, and a strange tingling sensation have fueled concerns about Wi-Fi sickness. However, critics argue that governments and tech giants have too much at stake to acknowledge potential dangers, keeping the public in the dark about long-term risks. So what does science have to say about all this? Well, not much. Current scientific evidence doesn't back these fears. Wi-Fi 6, like all previous versions, emits non-ionizing radiation, meaning it doesn't have enough energy to damage DNA or cause biological harm. Studies show no proven link between Wi-Fi exposure and health issues, and organizations like the WHO and FCC enforce strict safety guidelines. Wi-Fi routers also operate at power levels far below microwaves, making direct comparisons misleading. While skepticism persists, the overwhelming consensus is clear: Wi-Fi 6 isn't cooking anyone. If you got Wi-Fi 6, there's nothing to worry about. Just use it as if you were using Wi-Fi 5. Unless, of course, the big corporations paid for the wrong publication to be released. They wouldn't do that, right?
Wi-Fi operates at 2.4 gigahertz, the same as a microwave, and also 5 gigahertz. And now I think they have Wi-Fi 6, which is the 6 gigahertz, which is cooking the brain, cooking the body, cooking the cells.
There are a lot of wild animals that can grow really big, and this tiger caught on camera in an Indian forest is a perfect example. A car was passing by when the driver noticed this massive feline emerging from the woods. As they drove away, the tiger casually walked across the path right in front of the parked car. Just look at the size of this thing. It looks as big as a truck. Tigers are already huge creatures, but are they really this big? Some people pointed out that this could just be an illusion caused by a camera trick called perspective compression. When a camera zooms in, it flattens depth, making objects at different distances appear closer together. In this case, the tiger is actually closer to the camera while the truck is further away, making the tiger look way bigger than it really is. That said, this still has to be one massive tiger regardless. This woman shared a chilling experience and discovery from her property in upstate New York. One day, she was outside with her dogs when she heard her neighbor calling her name. Thinking he needed help, she headed toward the voice. Then, something felt off. It was coming from deep inside the woods. Confused, she texted her neighbor, and guess what? He said he wasn't even home. The voice sounded exactly like him, though. This has all the hallmarks of a mimic encounter, doesn't it? Mimics are infamous for imitating human voices to lure unsuspecting victims, but there's something even more unsettling about this story. The woman, a farmer, owns a property with a barn. While walking her land, she stumbled across something odd: 4-foot-deep crevices running along the edges of her property. These crevices weren't natural, they were deliberately filled with wooden debris. And here's the kicker: they were already there when she bought the place. Her gut tells her that whoever owned the land before her wasn't just dealing with an ordinary pest problem. Were they trying to keep something out? Or worse, keep something in? Could mimics be the reason for these eerie defenses? What's your take on it?
But this is kind of how a lot of them are. Like, I didn't put any of this stuff in these crevices. Trees grow up, like, I mean, it goes down, like right there, 3 feet, from 3-4 feet And I didn't put any of the stuff in here. This was all here because of the farmer. I guess maybe he did it.
Let's take a look at this footage. A man was out alone one night exploring the woods when he stumbled upon this abandoned boat sitting on land. It looked out of place, and inside the boat were boxes and random items scattered around. As he walked around the boat, he passed by a wide open window. Suddenly, something inside the boat moved. You can see it. It's a figure shifting in the darkness. The man panicked and bolted out there, clearly shaken. Now, let's replay that moment. It's dark, so we can't make out much detail, but you can see what looks like brown fur, broad shoulders, and arms. Some people think this is an alien, but honestly, it might just be a bear taking shelter. What do you think? All over the world, there are massive ancient structures that seem almost impossible for humans to have built, at least without advanced technology. This has led many people to believe that giants may have once lived amongst us. Take, for example, the Peruvian Andes. Here in the region of Ollantaytambo, you'll find giant stone steps that look far too large for an average human to use comfortably. When you see people standing on them, the scale just doesn't make sense. If these steps were truly built for humans to walk up and down, then why are they so enormous? This has led some to speculate that these structures were actually built by and for a lost race of massive humanoids who once roamed the earth. But is that really the case? Well, according to historians and archaeologists, the answer is a little different. These gigantic steps weren't actually meant to be used as stairs at all. Instead, they were built by the ancient Inca civilization as agricultural terraces. The Incas constructed these massive platforms to help prevent soil erosion, improve irrigation, and create microclimates that allowed them to grow a variety of crops at different altitudes. So while the idea of giants may be exciting, the truth in this case is far more practical. This next footage comes from Vancouver, Canada, where multiple witnesses from different locations reported seeing something unusual in the night sky. It was a strange blue light that shot up into the sky, glowing behind the clouds. In another clip, the light appeared the size of the moon, but it was moving, making it clear that it wasn't the actual moon. People were shocked by the sight, and since so many different people from various places saw the same thing, it's unlikely that this was edited or faked footage. The paranormal community believes this could be alien-related, perhaps a UFO, or even some kind of portal opening in the sky. However, skeptics have a different take. They suggest that this could be a high-tech hologram display, possibly a test of advanced projection technology. What do you think?
Look at him spraying. Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again. Bro, this is crazy, man.
You know how we've been seeing weird outlines in the sky? Well, this man actually caught a craft creating one live, and that's what you're actually watching on your screen right now. If you pay attention to the clip, you should see the plane flying vertically with what looks like a cloud behind it. According to the man filming, the plane is actually spraying something into the atmosphere that's leaving the outline. He's shocked and intrigued at the same time, wondering what all could be going on. If you've been on this channel long enough, then you've probably heard of chemtrails, which is what we think the plane might be discharging. For the new ones here, the chemtrail conspiracy theory suggests that the white streaks left behind by aeroplanes, known as contrails, are not just water vapor and ice crystals, but actually chemicals deliberately sprayed into the atmosphere by governments or other entities. The conspiracy theory suggests that they're being used for purposes such as weather control, population manipulation, or even secret biological experiments. Despite its popularity in conspiracy circles, scientists and aviation experts have repeatedly debunked the theory, explaining that contrails form naturally when hot, moist exhaust from aircraft engines meets cold air at high altitudes, creating visible condensation. There's no credible evidence supporting the existence of chemtrails, but the theory persists due to distrust in authority and misinterpretation of atmospheric science. You've seen the clip yourself, so what do you also think?
Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again.
A TikToker hiker recently shared a chilling experience from his nighttime hike in the Appalachian Mountains. Check out the footage. In the middle of his hike, he started hearing strange noises echoing through the woods. It sounded like people calling for help and crying out in distress. Now, if you know anything about the Appalachian Mountains, you're aware of the legends surrounding them. Stories of mysterious creatures and unexplained phenomenon are pretty common. The uploader suggested this might actually be a Wendigo or a mimic. I know it sounds like a bit of a stretch, but this is the Appalachian Mountains we're talking about. Julius, our scientist, listened to the audio and stated that it was oddly familiar. He argued that there was a chance the sounds we were hearing were pre-recorded and uploaded. Personally, I must say that after listening over and over and over, I have to agree with Julius on this one. It really does seem like the sounds were pre-recorded and added to the footage. While it's definitely spooky, I'm calling this one a hoax. Nice try, though. A homeowner had randomly decided to check their backyard security camera footage when they spotted something strange moving through the trees at the edge of their property. Now, this backyard isn't fully fenced off. It leads directly into the woods, meaning just about anything could be lurking out there. At first glance, it looks like a figure moving between the trees, but here's where things get eerie. When you look closely, the thing doesn't look fully human. It has a pale, almost ghostly appearance, and the way its head moves back and forth seems unnatural. Some who have analyzed the footage believe this could be a cryptid, while others suggest it might just be a regular animal distorted by shadows. However, the shape and movement don't really match any known animal in the area. It lacks the typical four-legged gait of most woodland creatures. That's why many viewers believe this could be something more mysterious, perhaps even a humanoid cryptid or an unknown entity. So, do you just see an animal or something else entirely lurking in the woods? Because of the tragedies that happen at hospitals, they're known to be filled with lingering entities that crawl all over the place. I think this theory is very true because just try and remember how you feel when you enter a hospital. It's not a good feeling at all, even when you're not sick. A worker at a hospital was going through a monitoring system when he saw this in one of the pediatric wards. It was two people sitting on the bed with their backs to the camera. It's an adult and a child. Now cast your eyes to the doorway. There seems to be this white, hazy human-like figure at the door, and it looks to be facing them, just standing there watching. What is this thing? A resident of Pennsylvania stepped outside his home one evening only to be greeted and then astonished by this striking red beam of light illuminating the sky. This unusual phenomenon has not only caught his attention, but has also drawn numerous reports from others in the area who claim to have witnessed similar beams of light across the sky. The frequency of these sightings raises questions. Is this merely a coincidence, or could there be a larger, more mysterious event occurring in the region? As curiosity grows, people are left to ponder the possible explanations behind these captivating beams. Years ago, during the Second World War, there was a mysterious project known as Project Race, and it was orchestrated by the Nazis in the mountains of Poland. For this project, they constructed massive structures interconnected by a network of caves deep in the mountains. Although they were unable to complete the project, one notable success was a colossal castle built in the area. These caves were abandoned for decades, but there were chilling rumors about what went on there. Stories of secret experiments, attempts to resurrect the dead, and even endeavors into time travel have fueled speculation for years. Recently, explorers went into the abandoned tunnels documenting their experience. As they made their way through the eerie passages, they captured this on camera. A pale, humanoid figure running on 2 feet ahead of them in the darkness. They uploaded the clip they recorded, and many theories followed. Many who saw the clip think that the Nazis may have succeeded in at least one of their experiments and created something otherworldly. Looking at the clip, I'm tempted to think this could be a remnant of those alleged experiments. But do you think it's crazy to think that? Do you have a more logical explanation? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. This video comes from southern Maine, where a man stumbled upon a series of strange tracks leading into the woods. These large, human-like footprints were far too big to belong to any person, which immediately set speculation that they could belong to Bigfoot. However, there's something unusual about these tracks. Typically, Bigfoot sightings are associated with disturbances in the environment like broken branches, flattened grass, and scattered debris. But in this case, the area surrounding the tracks appears perfectly untouched. The only sign of movement is a deep, wide-set imprints leading further into the trees. This has led skeptics to question whether these tracks really belong to Bigfoot at all. Some suggest they could actually be the tracks of a bobcat or even a snowshoe hare. These animals are known to leave odd-looking, oversized prints due to the way they move through deep snow. Despite this, believers remain convinced that this could be evidence of the elusive creature. The stride length is much greater than what a bobcat or hare would leave behind, and the shape of the prints still appears uncannily human-like. So what do you think it is? It's becoming a very popular theory that aliens might actually be coming from the ocean rather than out of space. Some researchers and UFO enthusiasts believe that the deep sea might be hiding extraterrestrial bases. Recently, multiple bizarre sightings over the ocean have added fuel to this idea. The first footage, taken on March the 19th, shows a family on the Florida coast spotting something unusual over the ocean. In the sky, there was a huge glowing light hovering above the water and smaller orbs scattered around it. The bright object remains in place for some time. Then, just 1 day later, on March the 20th, another family on Miami Beach filmed something eerily similar. This time, a massive orb of light floated above the sea, so bright that it reflected off the water's surface. Both accounts say that the brighter orb emerged from beneath the ocean and hovered above the sea. These back-to-back sightings have led to heavy speculation that this could be a mothership emerging from the sea with smaller crafts flying around it. If this is true, could there be hidden alien bases deep in the ocean? A home surveillance camera recorded something truly chilling. The room is dimly lit, with only the faint glow of the TV casting light. But focus on the right side of the screen. A shadowy figure is standing there, its back turned to the TV. Then out of nowhere, an unseen force violently drags the figure across the floor and straight into the wall by the TV. Take a closer look. What on earth could be happening here? Is this evidence of paranormal activity, or is there a more rational explanation that we are missing? We often say that Earth is the water planet, with roughly 70% of our surface covered by oceans. But what if I told you there's a place out there in the solar system that could have more water than all of the Earth's oceans combined? NASA scientists have revealed that Jupiter's moon Europa likely holds an enormous subsurface ocean beneath its icy crust. In fact, estimates suggest it could contain twice as much water as Earth, hidden under miles of frozen ice. This discovery doesn't just change how we view our planet, it opens up the possibility that alien oceans could harbor life in places we never imagined. Europa's waters are just kept liquid by the moon's internal heat and tidal forces from Jupiter's gravity, creating conditions that some scientists say might be similar to the deep ocean vents on Earth where life thrives. So while our oceans feel vast, it turns out they may just be a small pond compared to the cosmic one out there. So while our oceans feel vast, it turns out they're probably just a small pond compared to what's out there in our big cosmos. But with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Do me a favor. Share this with someone you love, or a few people you love. And I'll see you in the next one.